Hey everybody, welcome to the On Sun podcast. Today I have another special guest, the badass guy, Trap Gambino out of Las Vegas.
How you doing, brother?
Welcome to my show.
Yeah, I like the setup, man. And I enjoyed the podcast with you and Ashley as well.
Yeah, that one's I've had a lot of females reach out to me that watched that show and said it hit them hard, and it one girl messaged me. She was about 260 pounds and felt like she had nobody, and she's right the day after that episode, she went and joined again gym. She's got a trainer, and she's
Wow,
it's got her ready to go. So it's cool stuff
that's
happening on
incredible.
here.
Yeah, man, we're changing lives already, right?
Oh, I love it. I'm so addicted. Um, my first question to you is, how the heck did you end up on Dr. Phil?
Man, so the Dr. Phil thing, I was pretty much in an area of my life where I was trying to do everything I could to get famous. And I was applying to like TV shows, I did actual acting, I did music videos. I was a actor in big movies, small movies, uh, B movies, some weird music videos. I did a little bit of everything. Commercials. Out here in Vegas, I was staying busy when I first came, and one of those gigs happened to be Dr. Phil, and that's the one that, fortunately or unfortunately, whatever, fate so happened to have it that that's what blew me up. And yeah, so now I'm one of those catch me outside people.
How about
I'm
that?
official Dr. Phil alumni.
I gotta ask you, he does his wife literally walk him everywhere on the show? Like, or is that just
I don't know, honestly. So, when I first saw Dr. Phil, one of the things that shocked me is how old and brittle he really is. Because he doesn't, at least he looks old on TV, but like in real life, you're like, wow, man, like this dude looks like he's barely alive. There were people helping him move. I do remember that. Like he was like walking, like he had like tennis shoes on with a suit. Like you could tell he couldn't even wear dress shoes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I noticed. Well, the few times I've watched him at the end of every show, his wife comes up from the audience, takes his hand, and they walk off the stage together.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So I don't really watch the show, but I do remember that. Yeah, they
Yeah,
were doing like that cut. They have to get their takes for sure. It's television.
that's unreal. I noticed something on your Facebook the other day. You challenged him to a fight.
Oh
What?
yeah, there was a troll post that a lot of people thought was real. Actually, people thought that that was like a setup fight, which was so funny. But that was actually a poke at the Global Fight League. So
Yeah.
these guys are known for like putting really old fighters and athletes on their roster. And I felt like it would be funny to say that I was fighting Dr. Phil, and people got a kick out of that. And a lot of people thought it was real. And yeah, I thought that was great, man. I'm a
I
troll deep down at heart. I guess that's how I ended up on Dr. Phil in the first place.
I noticed you also called out Logan Paul on one of your Instagram posts. Did you ever get any reply from that or no?
So Logan Paul does know who I am because we've had some interactions back in the day. Back in the day, he had a viral video where he slapped and KO'd this guy named Slap for Cash, and then it was my idea to manage Slap for Cash and to say that Logan Paul, it was like he told him to fake it, and I made up this whole thing so that Slap for Cash could get a boxing fight with Logan Paul. I felt like this was his opportunity, and since I was his manager, I was trying to grasp at any straw I could. So it worked, and it got Logan's attention, and Logan was pissed off about it enough to make TMZ. So there was videos. I can send them to you so you can post it if you want to post it with this when you post it up. But there's videos of me on TMZ and Entertainment Tonight hitting the vape beside Slap for Cash, and we're talking about how Logan Paul's a liar and the slap was fake. Meanwhile, the slap was real as hell, and the Slap for Cash was knocked out cold. But it's cooler to say it was fake, and it started drama and everything. Needless to say, Logan was mad at me over that. And he knew that we were just looking for clout. We were looking for attention. but he was willing to give it to us, and he wanted to fight Slap for Cash. Slap for Cash backed out of the damn fight. So I stopped managing him, and then we kind of separated and parted ways. And that was like the last that I've ever heard from Logan, other than when we was in UFC 299 in Miami. We were sitting pretty much right beside each other. I'll send you that video too. That's a funny one. But him and his girlfriend was right beside me and my wife at a UFC 299, and he just kept looking at me like, I know that fucking guy from somewhere. I don't know if he recognized me, but he kind of seemed like he knew me from somewhere. And I was in the celebrity row, so he knew I was somebody important. But I have a feeling that me and him, our business is not over with.
He's actually, man, I watched a lot of WWE. I'm a big wrestling fan. He's actually
He's such
really
a good
impressed me on there. Like the amount of heat he's drawing.
dude. I hate him as a person, but as a pro fucking wrestler, holy shit. Like I'm a wrestling mark. I've met and hung out and worked with a lot of celebrities. Some would consider me a celebrity myself. But I've never really fanboyed over any of them other than pro wrestlers. Anytime I meet a pro wrestler, like when I was working with Stone Cold, it was like I felt like I was like seeing my dad that I never met before. You know what I mean? Like he was the craziest shit ever. And yeah, when I met like the Hearts and stuff like that, all
Oh,
these guys, Katie Forbes, RVD, these guys are legends to me because it's like anybody can, not anybody, but there's acting, you do a movie for like 6 months tops, and then you go home, you collect your check or whatever. You're that actor, actress for that time. These legends in wrestling not only act this like 300 days a year, but they're putting their bodies on the line for these characters 300 days a year. They're their own like stuntmen and everything. So I have such a big respect for professional wrestling.
well, it's really cool. I get to I've met a lot of celebrities through. I used to run a military charity for like 20 years, so I met a lot of
Mm,
my favorite hard rock bands and like Kiss and Motley Crue, and I was so calm with them. But when I got to spend 3 hours at a hockey game with Bret the Hitman Hart, who was
really?
he was my childhood hero. And
Wow.
I don't know if you remember the Chris Farley show on Saturday Night Live. That's that's what I was like next to him. I could barely talk. I was like total fanboy.
That's
But then he
crazy.
was so shy in person, I couldn't believe it. And the one thing that blew my mind about him is like every 5 minutes somebody was coming up because people knew he had season tickets, right? It was the Calgary Hitmen, the team.
Yeah.
So everyone would come up like, hey, oh, hey, Brett, can you sign this? Hey, oh my God, my kid is here. He doesn't believe that you're sitting here. And just he was just such a down to earth, amazing dude. And yeah, I got a little I couldn't even talk next to him hardly first for the first period.
I can imagine. I'm a big Bret Hart fan. I'd say the biggest professional wrestler I met, obviously Stone Cold. When I did Stone Cold Takes on America, that TV show was out of nowhere and pretty crazy itself. We traveled the strip, and then we competed on tractors. Unfortunately, they didn't show the tractor competition on the TV show, which I thought was crazy because it was like the best thing about the show. It was like me and Stone Cold was in like forklifts, and we had to stack tires. And they did the same thing on Tough Enough. They stacked tires in like a pyramid shape, and I lost. I got disqualified because I knocked over the tires. But it was a cool show, man, and I was starstruck the whole time. The
Yeah.
first thing he said to me is, "I'll send you this clip too." Is he saw this chain? I got on the bus and he was like, "God damn, son, how much that chain weigh? About 10 pounds?"
That's a really good impersonation. I got to say that too.
Yeah, I love Stone Cold, but my favorite is Triple H. I hope
Yeah.
I meet Triple H one day. That's my I love Triple H.
Yeah. I was at I was at the Rock versus Hogan at WrestleMania 18, and
Wow, really?
yeah, it's the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I've been the Motorhead front row. Um, but so after this Rock Hogan match, like probably the biggest, loudest match of all time, Triple H comes out for his main event and he's fighting Chris Jericho. And of course, half the audience is gone. Like 30,000 people bailed out because they're like, you're killing our buzz, right? It's like, I don't know, it'd be like the Wiggles coming on after AC/DC. It was just like, yeah, you could see it in his face. He was kind of pissed off. He's looking around at
Yeah.
watching people leave, but
I love Chris
he's,
Jericho too.
yeah.
Chris Jericho's the greatest smartass in pro wrestling. I swear to God.
Now, I'm watching a lot of your clips and following you on Facebook. One thing I kind of admire about you is how much you just don't give a shit what anybody thinks. It's
Yeah, I try to. It's hard, but
oh,
I feel
it's
like you have to. When you put yourself out there, you kind of have to. You have no choice. People are so damn mean nowadays.
yeah. When I had Ashley on, she was like, I asked her about trolls, and she's just like, if you don't like me, I just really don't give a damn, and
Yeah,
that's
she truly don't care. Like me, I act like I don't care. She truly doesn't care. She's a lot harder than I am. But yeah, when it comes to trolls, man, it's like they're just some of them are fun. Sometimes they're funny. Like there's videos of like fake me's on like somebody literally rented out a actual professional like cage area, arena, and everything, and put two people in there that were like actors. And one of them was he kind of looked like me, and he was like saying they did like a whole promo, wrestling promo. It was the craziest shit ever. But I was like, this is actually cool. Like they put money into this, they put thought into this. Looks like they had scripts. I was like, this is cool. But when people like start making pictures of you like kids and stuff like
oh
that, or they start talking about your family, it's like that's just too much. You know what I mean?
man,
Or
there
when they
was
start
about
attacking your sponsors, you know. That's why I'm super nervous to announce the venue uh, of this event when I do have it because I know people are gonna call and be like, you know, bomb threats, all kinds of crazy stuff. People are nuts, man.
yeah, people are wild. When a couple of years ago, I had posted a picture of me and my kid from I was almost 400 pounds, and she wanted to race me home. And then I lost, well, 170 overall. Still down 150. So I
Congratulations,
put the two pictures side by side after we had done a race together, and Arnold Schwarzenegger reposted it. And
dude. That's dope.
it had like 9.1 million views. But now one person out of that 9 million decided to take every picture they could find of me and my kid, and they made fake accounts of me just trashing me. Like it almost made me delete everything. Like I was
Dude.
almost done. But then I kind of stopped posting so much. But people
Yeah, it's like
people are horrible.
isn't it crazy how like the most like negative things get the most traction? Like me and my buddy was just talking about that. How like you could post like workout videos and like you know good like telling people good advice and stuff, and that doesn't really get any traction. But if me and you are sitting here talking shit about somebody, that's gonna get so many views and so much clicks, which is gonna give us revenue and money. So you know more incentive to talk shit. Like I hate the way the world is. It's so negative, but you just got to fight through it, I guess. It's going to change somehow. It's going to go full circle because, like, we're at the point with comedy and trolling and being mean and everything. Like, how far can we go before we just completely go full circle?
Yeah.
This shit's insane nowadays.
Well, with her, I mean, I took a lot of videos on that day when we did our first 5 kilometer race together, and her smile and just you can see how proud she is. That's my noise canceling headphones.
Yeah,
Whenever I get shit
absolutely.
online, it doesn't even phase me anymore. I'm working on it. It'll still get to me a little bit, but man, I just asked the AI bot to roast me, and holy shit, I said, roast me and be nasty. I just wanted to see what it would say.
That's
And
hilarious.
holy shit, it was good. Like, credit to Elon Musk and Grok. He ripped me apart. So I
Dude,
posted it. I'm like,
ChatGPT is funny as hell. The other day, I was talking to him. I was like, look, I'm 315 pounds, but I still feel fat. Like am I stuck or what? And like they was saying back to me, it was like, look, Trap, okay, so you might be still fat. I was like, what the fuck?
I
He was like,
remember
but
one time
you
we
came
got
a long way. You might be a little fat, but you came a long way. Like,
yeah.
like, damn. They don't hold back.
No, no. I remember one time when the Nintendo Wii first came out, I was 392 pounds then, and we're all just sitting around getting ready to step on it. And I'm like, I don't want to step on it. It's gonna say one player at a time, please. It's a one player game. Get off player two.
That's hilarious.
But no, I just don't give a shit anymore. Um, MFL League. This is looking pretty cool, man. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so the Made Fight League is something I began literally like 19 days ago. So far, it's blown up. We've already got the LLC and everything that like that working on. We got the name, so we're just waiting on securing the LLC, and that'll be done probably before the show. And it takes like sometimes it takes up to like a year to get the trademark. But the first thing we wanted to do was get the name, get the branding, and all that stuff, start the social media. So it's been like 19 days. I've got talent. I've got a date, and we're working on getting a venue. I got sponsors. I got a lot of investors behind me, and it's looking really, really good. Everything's running smoothly, a lot faster than I thought it would. But June 27th is going to come a lot faster as well. I see a lot of these guys putting these cards together within like a month, and I think it's because they're doing it the easier way. But the way I'm doing it, I don't want just a quick cash grab. I want to develop like an actual brand and an actual legacy and get these fighters paid. So I'm doing it a little differently.
So I didn't even know that like a lot of these fights. I follow a lot of fighters on Twitter and Instagram, a lot of boxers because that's how I dropped all my weight was boxing. So I kind of mad respect for those guys. I had one sparring session in my 2 years of boxing, and I've only taken one punch. I had headgear on, but man, that still messed me up. And
Yeah.
it turned me into like Stone Cold when that happened. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, head trauma is no joke, man. I hate getting punched in the head.
But the biggest thing is like just reading on your Instagram and stuff about fighters getting a fight and they're supposed to go out and sell tickets for it without knowing if they're even going to receive a cent for getting their head smashed in. That's
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. For example, when my wife competed on an amateur card here in Vegas, it was a 12-day notice. And you'd figure they would at least pay her for that. She was the only female on the card, other than the other female fighters. She was basically saving the card by putting the female fight back on the card. She was a fill-in. So they gave her like 50 tickets or something like that to sell, and like she got a certain percentage of it. And this is how they do things. Like this is nothing new. Like from Ohio to Vegas to Florida, LA, if you're an amateur fighter, they just say that they can't pay you, but they can. I was paid as an amateur fighter because there's loopholes that you can do. There's plenty of loopholes. You can't outright pay them and say that this is for your fight. But as a brand, even if I wanted to, I could sponsor these fighters for like $1,000 each and say they're sponsored by the NFL. I'm not paying them. Like that's how easy it is to get away from this loophole. Or I could give them a $500 per DM, and say that that's just for them being in Vegas and them taking part of this event. I'm not actually paying them. But the way that I truly plan on paying these guys is powered through the fans and powered by Patreon. So once I have the team and the league set up and everybody on the roster, I'm gonna make a poster and I'm gonna upload it to Instagram, launching the Discord. And all these fighters, all these talents are going to be on the Discord, and they're going to be able to communicate with the fans and interact with the fans. And the Discord is going to be $5 a month to join, and through Patreon. And what they get through that is they get to not only interact with the fighters, but they get to vote on cool stuff like where the fights are going to take place, who fights, who wins the fight if the fight goes to final round, which is something totally unheard of. There's no judges. The fans are the judges.
right.
So if this fight goes the full uh 10 minutes, the fans who are part of the Patreon get the vote as well as the crowd meter for the fans who show up in attendance. So it gives both of them an incentive to take part. And not only are they getting paid through Patreon, but something new that we're doing that not any other fucking brands do, which also I think is crazy, is we're selling merchandise. All the sales for our merchandise sales goes directly to the fighters. So if you bought an MFL shirt, even if it doesn't say, let's say we hired a fighter's named Jake. If it doesn't say Jake across the t-shirt, he still gets a percentage of that t-shirt sale because it's going to be split revenue between all the fighters. And there's only going to be 18 fighters or 16 fighters on a card. Maybe 18 because I'm going to have some, backups. But yeah, so it's going to be a revenue split between everybody and all the talent, and that's how they're going to get paid. We're paying them through the fans instead of paying them through the promotion, and they don't have to worry about ticket sales because we don't give them ticket sales. We are the ones who feel like we're responsible for the ticket sales. So we're going to be out there pushing the tickets and stuff like that, so they don't have to worry about all that. They're getting paid no matter what. On top of that, on top of that, sorry,
Good.
geez, I had a lot of interviews today. On top of that, pay-per-view sales is something that they have to worry about, which is like you'll say like you'll see fighters post up like, okay, I'm fighting for blah 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 league, buy the pay-per-view and use hashtag Trap Daddy for 10% off the ticket sale or pay-per-view sales or something like that. We're not doing any of that. It's our job to push the pay-per-view sales as well. So the fighters don't get pay-per-view sales and they don't get ticket sales. We get that in exchange for us doing our fucking job, which is promotion. Like we're not relying on the fighters to do our job and we're not doing the fighter's job. So I feel like it's common sense, really.
My biggest thing with the few, I've been to a few UFCs and a few
Excuse me.
big boxing cards. Um, Live, it's horrible. Like there's so many people around the ring, like eight guys with cameras, like you can't see shit, and you find yourself just staring at the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you put a guy in front of an empty section, like it needs to be made more enjoyable live because it was just
Yes.
dead.
And you know what? I was watching Mike Perry's new fight league. It's called Dirty Boxing. Looks amazing. He has good investors behind it. He has good promotion behind it. But when I was watching it, one thing really stood out to me. It's a small venue, private venue. We might have a private venue because sometimes you just got to do it like that for the first couple times. But he was showing the crowd, and it was like, there's Steve Will Do It, there's Paige Van Zant, there's fucking Bono, I don't know, like all these celebrities. And it made me feel like this is like the cool club. Like the crowd, like he invited the cool club, not real actual fans. So of course, when something happens, all these fucking influencers and these celebrities are going, oh my god, they're gonna overreact. You're not gonna get real reactions. You're not gonna get real interaction from these celebrities around your ring. So that's one thing that stuck with me when I was watching this, man. I don't want to fill my fucking arena with a bunch of goofball influencers and celebrities. And I've been a part of events that had that as well. I do not want that. I want real fight fans at my venue. So it's not going to be the cool kids club, quote unquote, in the crowd. That's one thing that really stuck out for me. So it's going to be a small venue, but it's going to be a venue packed with real fight fans.
It's kind of like watching games. I'm a big hockey fan, of course, Toronto Maple Leafs, but their whole lower
Yeah,
bowl
excuse
when
me.
you watch a game live, it's all like super rich people. So it's all like business perks, meeting give outs. And then when they go on the road, like when they come here to Calgary or Edmonton or Winnipeg, fans in their away arena are louder than the home fans because that's when the real fans come out. So
Yes.
it's kind of similar to that, right? Like, why do you want the whole lower bowl venue packed with people that make like 10 grand a day that just have a sales perk to make a deal? Or do you know what? Just to get on there and they got their hair all perfect, they're wearing suits. No, you want the guys in the t-shirts in the front row and just the ins.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like that's like every time I go out to like a bar or something in Vegas, Vegas is the worst. They got these, they're basically like scouters. They'll look for people that look like they might have money, that look like they might have connections, and they'll come up to you and be like, hey, there's like I run a social gathering club next week or some shit. You should come through. We're all just like linking up and networking. And then you make the mistake of actually showing up. And you find out it's just a bunch of like actually broke people in business suits hoping to get like in cool with rich guys, or they got some fucking, they're trying to sell life insurance or something like that. It's like such a waste of my damn time, man. And yeah, I literally had to stop doing business meetings with people because people approaching me about everything. And luckily now I'm too busy to do any of that shit. So it's literally, I'm just living. It's been, like I said, 19 days since the company launched, and I'm living, breathing, eating the MFL.
That's awesome. Do you ever, I know there's a lot of fight clips from the day. Do you ever, once this gets up, are you gonna have a surprise ring appearance, kind of like the old Vince days where he jumps in the ring and takes someone on and just lets go?
What, like for the league?
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that would be funny, right? Like a surprise fight at the very end of it, and it's like me versus somebody else. But I don't know, man. I think I want to stay very focused on this one, and but I am losing weight. I'm losing a lot of weight, and I'm working really hard. I do want to fight. If opportunity came up, I would definitely take it. I don't think my this is hilarious to say, and this is probably going to get clipped, but I don't give a fuck. So I don't think my league is big enough to put me on a card. I think that I'm bigger than my league. I think that I should be on a card like fucking Misfits or Happy Punch or something way bigger than how small the MFL is right now. Maybe that's me being too egotistical, or maybe that's me being too, not confident enough in the MFL, or we'll see. But either way, I feel like the MFL is here right now, and I'm right here. So, yeah, I want to be on a big card. I want to get paid money, and I can't pay myself tens and thousands of dollars yet to fight.
Now, what if Dr. Phil's watching this whenever he loaded up and his wife is sitting there and he looks over like, Arthur, honey, you gotta come walk me down this MFL ring because I'm gonna find that motherfucker and I'm gonna catch him outside. How about that?
I don't know, man. Dr. Phil's got some athleticism behind him from back in the day. He used to play some football, so you never know, man. He might still have that tackle and fuel.
So I got a couple more questions for you and then we'll call it a night. What's
Cool.
one question you've always wished somebody would ask you, but they never do?
Ooh, that's a great one. I have to think about that. I would say, a lot of people assume how I lost the weight, and not a lot of people ask me how I lost the weight. They just say congratulations. And the whole process of me losing the weight was pretty interesting. So I'd say people don't ask me how I eventually lost all this weight, because it was like an up and down process, and now I got it unlocked.
People usually ask me what pills or injections I took. I'm like none, just 4 years of hard freaking work.
Yeah,
Um, I started when I was 44 years old. I turned 50 in August, and I'm in better shape than when I was 20. I started with three
that's how you
boxing
age
circuits.
backwards, right?
Yeah, yeah. I started with three boxing circuits a week, then I went up to five, and then I would do like 10,000 steps a day on top of that when I got the dog. And I don't even diet, and people don't believe me. It's just I used to eat two big plates of food. I cut that down to one. And then the potatoes and the pasta, I cut that in half and double up on the meat.
Mm, yeah.
Other than that, It's just a lot of hard work and sweat and
Yeah, that'll
big
do it.
times.
It was trial and error for me, man. I was always like a hard worker, so I was always working hard, like in the gym and stuff like that. Even when I was like super fat, but it was like my diet. That was the big thing for me. Trial and error through my diet. I even went through a whole year where I was like plant-based, vegan. It was
No,
insane.
never be able to do that.
It was a wild experience. I got smaller for sure, but I kept felt like I was like getting injured a
Yeah,
lot easier and stuff like that because I don't know if it's because I didn't have the protein in me or what, but I kept getting injured. Like my back kept getting hurt.
nice. Um, if there's someone out here watching right now that's, a bigger guy, bigger girl, just someone thinking about making a change or going for something, what would you say to them?
Diet is the most important thing, I would think, over everything. For me, anyways, everybody has their own path,
Yeah.
and just like some people like literally lose weight by eating nothing but spicy food, and that they'll eat like healthy spicy food, and that's how they get over it. But with me, I messed my stomach up to the point where I can't even eat the stuff I love. I love to eat pizza and garlic bread and all that stuff, and I can't eat it. Like fried chicken, I can't eat that.
Oh man.
So, sacrifice is huge, and it sucks so bad, but it's worth it. It definitely is. It's worth it. And one of the biggest one of the biggest times of my life where it felt like it was worth it was when I sat down in a plane and I was broke. I had to fly Spirit, so sitting here trying to put this belt on, and it actually went across my waist. Like usually I had to fake it. I had to like fake it, or I had to like, hey, can I get an extender? Like nobody
Oh,
wants to ask for an extender, so you're gonna fake it.
yeah.
So I was like faking it, but that one time I didn't have to fake it. I was like, holy shit, all that sacrifice is worth it. So anybody out there who's struggling, I would just say sacrifice is 100% worth it, even though it sucks.
I have one last question for you. Um, how many pigeons do you think you could carry in a 100-meter pigeon carrying contest, and how many would you have left at the finish line?
Man, that's a good question. And they're like open.
Yeah,
Like
they're
I can't
live.
have them in a bag or
No,
anything.
you either got them in your arms or you're
Damn.
carrying them by the legs.
Let's see, I would say like maybe like five under each armpit and like clutching some by the feet with my fingers. Maybe 20 tops. I don't know,
Oh,
but they're
wow,
gonna get
that's
injured.
that's the top answer so far. 15 episodes.
They're gonna be injured, unfortunately.
The
Like there's no nice way to do this.
One of my friends told me, he's
It
like,
should
you're
just be
talking about
one.
all this serious shit on your podcast, and the only way you might be get canceled is by PETA with the pigeon question, man. That's gonna
That's so true.
you never
I
know
mean,
those
you could
days.
say like you could do one pigeon and just like gently take them across the yeah.
That question came from that game
That's
I
the
went
right
to.
answer.
The question came from the game that I went to with Bret Hart, and I said to him, I bet you, you've done thousands of interviews. I bet you I can ask you a question that you'd never heard. And I asked him that question, and he's just sitting there like this, and he's like, fuck, I don't know, two. So I'm like, you know what? That's it. This is my question at the end of every episode.
Yeah, see, I feel like he's trying not to injure the birds as well.
I think so too. I think he's worried about PETA. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's the first time I've ever heard that one for sure.
So yeah, if people want to follow along with this MFL, I'll put the links in the description, but that's the easiest way to find you on there.
Yeah, definitely follow Made Fight League. We're putting on our first event here in Vegas, June 27th. It's going to be on pay-per-view, and it's there's going to be clips and all that stuff on the Instagram. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. We don't have a website or anything set up right now, but we will be launching a Patreon very soon and merchandise through payperview.millions.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on with me. We'll certainly be following you along. I'll get all those links out there, and maybe a year from now we'll see you up in Canada doing some shows.
Hell yeah, man. I gotta come up there and visit Big Daddy Gary Goodrich. We did a documentary together. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a Canadian MMA legend.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely gotta come. I've been needing to come to Canada. Ever since I met him, he's been telling me to come to Canada.
Well, make Alberta your first stop. It's 2 minutes away from the Rocky Mountains, the Stampede. It's all kinds of craziness.
Nice.
Not quite as intense now that I'm sober almost 3 years, but it's still a lot of fun to be had. And just just I maybe wouldn't go to Quebec first.
You guys ski over there?
You have what?
You do skiing?
Skiing? Oh yeah,
Can
I'm
you
like the mountains are like half an hour from here.
really?
Oh
Oh
yeah,
man,
like the big Montana style mountains. So
that sounds like fun
yeah.
and a
Well,
hell of a workout.
oh yeah. I'll fire some links about that too as well. But the view
Definitely do
from
that, brother.
so yeah, keep me updated. Maybe we'll have you on in like 6 months for a follow up and just see how it's
Yeah,
going.
man, let's do it. Let's talk about how good the event went.
When I have when I have people on here, I'm just not someone to have someone on and forget about it. Like, I want to keep this going and keep giving the voices out there. I got Special Olympic athletes coming on. Just, and, if someone has 10 followers or they have 10 million followers, it doesn't matter. Just get these
That's
stories
dope,
out.
man. That's
Awesome.
dope.
Thanks for joining me, man. We'll be in touch.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me on the platform.
All right, you too.